Yo, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year's. I know it's been a bit since I've posted something on the YouTube channel, but I've been wanting to do this video for a while now, so you already know what time it is. 2023 is over, and it's that time where me and other collectors rally up our thoughts and opinions on top 10 figures that either came out this year or that we got this year. For me, what I'm doing this year is top 10 figures that I got this year. And that's because usually I get the figures 2 or a few months after they're released. I'm not the type of person to get figures once they come out because I don't really have the money at that time. But then usually I get them later on. But enough said, it's time to get to the point of this video and let's get into our top 10 figures that I got this year. Top 5 honorable mentions because I've collected so much in just a span of 1 year that not all of them made it to the top 10. The Symbiote Spider-Man Marvel Legend has to be one of the greatest Marvel Legends today. Cause even though it's a $22 figure, it still holds up with the figures of today and it goes well with any Spider-Man collection. Of course it can't be compared to the Mafex one, but it's a good figure and it gets the job done. The SH Figuarts Tech on Iron Man is honestly a good figure. It comes with a bunch of accessories while at the same time being at a fair price. To be honest, this is a figure that you can pass on. It's not essential, you don't really need it. But this figure is honestly beautiful to pose. And it kind of reminds me of if Iron Man was a JoJo stand. I don't know why. But it's nice, it has a few flaws, but overall it's an okay figure. SH Figuarts Krillin has to be a good underrated figure. He comes with a very good amount of accessories and overall his sculpting is great. I think that the only problem with this figure is pricing. For a figure like him, I think he should have been around 40 bucks like Frieza. But he's still a good figure and I think every Dragon Ball fan should have him. Demoniacal Fit Goku Black has to be one of the first third-party figures I've ever had. And I'm very glad to own this figure because to be honest, it's really good. The only difference between this figure and actual SH Figuarts is the quality. The quality is very plasticky, but to be honest, it doesn't matter because the accessories and the posing is pretty well and this figure overall is a very good figure. Last honorable mention will be SH Figuarts Vegeta because to be honest, this figure for 35 bucks is a good figure. The accessories and the sculpting on this figure is honestly great. So like I said, for a good price, you get a good figure. But now for the time that you guys all been waiting for, let's get ready for our top 10s. Number 10, we got the SH Figuarts The Flash from the Justice League. This figure has amazing sculpting and detail. You can literally tell that they actually put their time and effort into every little detail of the figure. He has good articulation in the arms, head, and legs, except the ab crunch. For a character like the Flash that needs a lot of range in his waist, it's disappointing to see that it can't move that forward and it can't move that back. Like, it's genuinely very disappointing. And not to mention, the accessories are not the greatest. This figure is still great in some points of range and is amazingly sculpted. Number 9 is TDKR The Batman. This figure honestly surprised me on many levels. Medicom Mafex honestly did an amazing job with the sculpting and the detail on this figure. Like, genuinely, this is what I call battle damage. This is a figure that I never even thought of just picking up until one day I got him and genuinely surprised me. The accessories, especially the head, are genuinely amazing, and I even added an extra grapple hook for the figure. The cape articulation and the articulation of the figure also make this figure even better. So I'm gonna be honest, this figure genuinely surprised me and I recommend this for any other person that loves Batman. Number 8 is the SH Figuarts Yuji Itadori. This figure is probably one of the best figures in the JJK line. This figure looks great and looks exactly like Yuji Itadori from the JJK anime. The accessories itself are amazing. Like, they come with a fair amount of accessories and I especially love the Sukuna faceplates. Like, they look really good. Like, no joke, this figure is genuinely a good figure to just mess around with and play around with. And I especially love the "Where you go, I go. What you see, I see." I honestly recommend this figure to any Jujutsu Kaisen fan or any SH Figuarts fan because this figure is honestly really good. Number 7, SH Figuarts Deadpool. Already looking at this figure, it looks amazing and it looks just like Deadpool in the movie. Posing this figure is very fun because you can really just get into that cinematic poses from the movie. The only problem that I have with this figure is the guns. The most important accessory in a Deadpool figure is the guns, and this figure doesn't even come with it. I added my own. Like, he comes with good accessories, but not coming with guns suck. The swords in the bag tend to fall off a lot lately, and that's not just on my copy, it's on many other copies. I still think that this figure is still pretty good, and I would recommend it to any person who loves the movie. SH Figuarts Bardock is a figure that I never really got until like they reissued it this year. This figure is just good, man. Like, honestly, it's just a very good Dragon Ball figure. What I like about this figure is that it's not a Goku figure, and yet it's still an amazing figure to just have, and overall looks amazing. The details in the muscle and the armor make this figure pop out a lot more. What I don't like about this figure much is when you move it to back or forward, there's like little gaps in the back and the front. But to me, it's alright because this figure still articulates very well and it's very smooth to just move around. Plus, the detail on that scouter is amazing. It comes with a very fair amount of accessories, and I recommend to any Dragon Ball fan to pick this figure up immediately. It's good. The SH Figuarts Full Power Jiren is a behemoth of a figure. Like, look at it, bro. Look at this figure.
Cap my little face, bitch. You better keep your hand off that camera, boy, before I hit you in the back of your neck.
This figure is glorious to look at because of how much detail is put in, and effort, and everything this figure has is just great. The articulation for a buff figure like this is honestly fair. It's nothing too crazy, but it's nothing too low. It's honestly a very fair articulation. This figure is just nice to have and hold around because it's just beautiful. It comes with a fair amount of accessories, and I do recommend this figure to anyone who has watched the Tournament of Power. It's such a great figure. Well. If it isn't another Goku figure. This character always manages up to just crawl back into our lives. But it doesn't mean that this figure sucks. Honestly, it's on the contrary. This figure is actually pretty heat. This figure is just amazing to have, and it's different compared to all the other Goku figures out there. I've always wanted to own this figure because this figure literally represents one of the biggest moments in anime history, yo. The battle damage pants and the shadowing behind it just makes this figure pop out a lot more. And the upper body just adds to it, making this figure look great. The accessories are a pretty fair amount. And overall, if you can find this figure for a good price, I say pick it up. And now, what y'all been waiting for, the top 3. All Might, the greatest character from My Hero Academia, gets a figure, and it's made by one of the most goated companies, Kyoto Revoltech. And hear me out, watching people make videos about this figure and getting this figure myself, let me just say, it had me on a different type of level, if you know what I mean. The articulation, the sculpt, and the accessories make this figure beyond amazing. You can really say that this figure goes beyond plus ultra. If anything, this figure wasn't even that far from making it second place. This figure was so close to making it second place, so I put it on my Instagram, created a poll, and this figure lost second place by like 5 votes. But to me, this figure is great, and I recommend it to everyone. Like, it doesn't matter if you don't collect My Hero, this figure is gonna blow your mind. The Mayfix Scarlet Spider is one of my favorite figures in my collection, and is the first ever figure that I've gotten that comes with soft goods. The articulation on this figure is your standard Mayfix articulation, but yet it's still a pretty good figure. This figure is aesthetically pleasing to just look at because they did an amazing job with the scope and detail on this figure. This figure didn't win second place by a lot. All Might almost beat him, but even though this figure is still slightly better than All Might is still a good figure. The accessories on this figure are a pretty good amount. Overall, it's a very good figure, and I recommend it to any Spidey collectors out there because it goes well with any Spider-Man collection. Now it is time to introduce the most finest figure that I got this year. Introducing the number 1 Mayfix Peter B. Parker. Nothing has to be said yet, but you can already tell that this figure looks incredible. The way this figure looks, it looks exactly like the movie, like genuinely bit by bit. The soft goods on this figure are perfect, and they're just add-ons to making this figure amazing. The soft goods are removable, and they reveal a very good sculpted Spider-Man.
Spider-Man?
Oh, hey, didn't see you there.
Looking closely at this figure, I love how this figure just looks. The body proportions are just exactly like Peter B. Parker, and the mask, it looks all very well done. This figure looks very nice, and the articulation is actually pretty good. But the accessories are, another level, bro. You can already tell that this figure comes with so much, including the clothes that he comes with. Plus, it comes with so many interchangeable parts. This figure is also very fun to just mess around with and play around with. What was probably the biggest bonus about this figure is that I actually got it for a good deal. The person that sold it to me for $100, so honestly, that's a pretty big W. Overall, if you can snag this figure for a good deal, I say get it, because for me, this is my top 1 figure that I got this year. But yeah, those were all my top 10 figures of the year. I don't really know if I'm going to keep posting on YouTube. I just felt like I really wanted to do this video. I've been wanting to do this video since like last year. Hope you guys enjoyed, and if you guys see more of my content, follow my Instagram and follow my TikTok, and peace out, yo.